My game went viral. I deleted it. This is where I'm now. Reset. But why would I throw away a year and a half of progress for something people love so much? It's been a month since Unity launched their tax, angering us all. Since my game is built on their engine, I have to rebuild somewhere new. Many engines have been considered, but I think there's one that tops them all.
Home sweet home.
Okay, hold on. What is my game?
Backrooms 2D, you ask? Back in my day, this thing called the Backrooms blew up, which are a bunch of yellow walls. I decided to make a game on this. People really seemed to love it, so I developed it over the next year, and then...
I started work by importing my sprites from Unity to Godot. One difference I noticed immediately was how Godot handled Photoshop files. With Unity, you can import a Photoshop file and all the layers will become separate sprites. With Godot, however, PSD is not a good format. PSD is an abysmal format. My hate for PSD has grown into a raging fire that burns with the fierce passion of a million suns. Anyways, after exporting all my player sprites into separate images, I made a quick placeholder level and decided, now we're actually in a script. Woohoo! Thankfully, my prior practice proved useful as I quickly got a moving player sprite and tried my hand at animating in Godot. Oh, this is like Unity's timeline right here. I started by creating the individual animations based on my sprites, followed by programming the system to make the correct animation show, which is where my inexperience started to shine. I'm mad trash. Okay, what's going on here? I was trying to reference my player object so I can get the velocity at which he's traveling, but for some reason I just cannot figure it out. So I hit up my boy, possibly 𝗗𝗘𝗦𝗜𝗖𝗥𝗑𝗦. I need some help. And after discussing different methods to animate our player, we eventually settled on which chooses an animation based on what node is nearest to this point. Like most things, unfortunately.
Does it work?
Okay. But eventually...
Okay, there we go. Now that worked pretty well.
And with my animation tree created, I linked it up to my player, which was very easy. I'm gonna feel really dumb if I didn't set it to active, am I chose the wrong career. My next step was to create an AI for my bacteria, which is done using a technique called... Pop quiz. What would be the shortest path from me to 30,000 subscribers? I mean, it's this, obviously. How about now? You could try to solve this, but if you're lazy like me, you'd rather spend a month making a program to do this for you. Let's start with the first step. Where the heck should I move? Towards my goal, obviously, but how do we know where that is? Numbers. Please don't click off, I need ad revenue. Basically, for each surrounding square, we can take the distance between it to me, the distance between it to that sweet 30k, and go to the lowest sum. If there's a wall, we just find the next lowest square. That's it. You just learned how to solve any maze, why that dang zombie keeps following you, and most importantly, how a bacteria will chase our players through the backrooms. So with my newfound knowledge, I followed a tutorial from DevWorm, imported my bacteria sprites, and that should be about it. Not quite. What am I missing? What am I missing? The way I wanted to code my pathfinding, I found it only works when using a system called tile maps, which is a grid of tiles used to create a game's layout, which means we would need a world where bacteria can live in. Back to the drawing board.
Algorithm.
A set of instructions used to create cool freaking stuff. This is how the worlds in Minecraft, Terraria, and most importantly, Backrooms 2D are made. The better your algorithm is, the faster your world spawns, and the easier it is to add new stuff to it. So to make sure the levels in Backrooms 2D are the best they could be, I researched a bunch of different algorithms people use to make levels in their game. After some digging, I found the blueprint for my old algorithm from one of my previous devlogs. This is what I have to do.
Oh yeah.
But I do know we have to start by creating a tile map, because like I said earlier, our entity will only follow the player if we use the tile maps. First thing we gotta solve. Why are my tiles so spread out? I'm almost there, Oh my god. I selected my eraser and I never deselected it. After finally resizing my tiles to the correct scale, I created my tile set using previous sprites and replaced my placeholder tile with real tiles. The next step is to create something called auto tiling, which allows tiles to seamlessly connect together. This is actually a little trickier than you might expect because you need to ensure that each adjacency rule is covered so the tiles auto tile correctly. So after some researching and way too much analysis paralysis, I painted the adjacency rules for each of my tiles.
That's Backrooms Studio right there. Bro, that's it right there.
And the easy part was out of the way. The hard part?
So now I'm gonna try to procedurally generate.
After so much research, this line of code. What does that mean? It's basically these red sinks you see painted on my actual tiles.
Which defines the adjacency rules for the tile.
With this get terrain peering bit number here, I'll be able to control what kind of terrain I can make. Actually remaking this thing is gonna have to wait since I do not feel like spending another 5 weeks losing my mind.
Now that I was using a tile map system, all I needed was to assign collision and navigation layers to each of my tiles.
Look, he's coming, bro. He's coming. I'm just playing around with the speed variable.
Afterwards, I moved on to making lighting, and after adding a point light to our player and a directional light of darkness.
Oh, yes. Oh, this is horrific. Ah, okay.
Now, one topic I'm very curious about is pseudo 3D, which is faking 3D def into a 2D game, like these walls.
So the problem I'm having right now is that these inside tiles are gonna be blocking the pseudo 3D effect. So how do I separate the inside tiles from the walls?
Well, after a lot of researching, I decided to remove the ground from my tiles so nothing could block my walls.
Oh, yo, that looks sick. What the frick?
After fixing the strange side effects, I re-added my ground to one of my tiles and put it on a separate layer, which may have broken the collision.
So scuffed.
After fixing my collisions on my tiles, which didn't take me 30 minutes, I hate everything, I noticed that my 3D effect was pretty hard to see, so I tried darkening some of my walls and...
That actually looks kinda cool, I'm not gonna cap.
And after spending an hour trying to fix 37 errors that I still don't understand,
After a week and a half of work, here's what we have. It's terrible.
I literally wanted to recreate my entire game, and instead I recreated like none of it.
I think this project is the perfect example of the Dunning-Kruger effect. I was on the peak of Mount Stupid. I was so confident about using Godot, and now I've realized how many little details that I've missed.
I'm gonna feel really dumb if I didn't set it to active.
I need to learn more about Godot. See you on the next one.